The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Anchorage Police Department. At approximately 10:30 a.m. Alaska Daylight Time, an explosion occurred on Fire Island outside of Anchorage, Alaska. It is unknown what has caused the explosion. Anyone currently within the coastal waters of Anchorage, Alaska is advised to avoid Fire Island, and to immediately head for the nearest shore, and disembark your watercraft. Citizens of Anchorage are advised to remain out of the coastal waters, and away from the coast. If you are near the coast, move and land immediately. Law enforcement and fire officials have been dispatched to investigate the source of the explosion. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Anchorage Police Department. A mandatory evacuation order has been declared for the citizens of Anchorage. The source of the explosion on Fire Island has been discovered. The explosion was caused by a torpedo. The origins of the torpedo is unknown. Citizens of Anchorage are to take the following instructions immediately. Remain calm. Pack all essentials and family members into a car or other motorized vehicle that you have access to and exfiltrate the city of Anchorage. An evacuation route will be provided by police and fire officials. If you do not own a car, dial 911, and you will be escorted out of Anchorage by police or fire officials. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Anchorage Police Department. At 12 p.m., an unknown individual was spotted roaming the streets of Anchorage. The individual stands at 4 feet tall, wearing blue jeans, brown shoes and a red hoodie with a yellow sickle and hammer displayed on the back. It is unknown if the individual is hostile. If you see this individual, dial 911 immediately. Civil danger warning for Anchorage, Alaska. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Anchorage Police Department. Multiple bodies of local government officials have been discovered around 6th Avenue. The bodies were impaled against a wall with red star drawn in blood around the bodies. The cause of death has come from extreme blunt trauma to their chests. It is unknown if these incidents are related to the red-hooded individual. The following precautions are to be taken. If you are in a vehicle, lock all of your doors immediately. If you have not begun evacuating, remain calm and do so immediately. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States Coast Guard. The origin of the torpedo has been confirmed. The torpedo has come from a Cold War Soviet submarine. The submarine was discovered in the shore surrounding Kodiak Island. The submarine was discovered to be unmanned with its crew slaughtered. The crew was Emergency update. A survivor has been discovered on board the Soviet submarine. The survivor has been identified as Dr. Viktor Myasnikov. Dr. Myasnikov has been taken on board the USS Paris, where he has disclosed the nature and identity of the Soviet submarine and the red-hooded individual. Officially, in 1982, the submarine was ordered by the Kremlin to monitor United States activity within the Bering Strait. Unofficially, the submarine was testing grounds for experimental sleeper agents. The sleeper agent test subjects consisted of homeless children and orphans. Children were used for the following reasons. Their bodies were easily altered as they did not finish growing. Additionally, they were least likely to be suspected as sleeper agents. The children undergone intense physical conditioning in the deep waters of the Pacific Ocean. The intent was to breed a strong and bulletproof individual. The children also undergone an experimental mental conditioning, where their brains were directly wired to computers and code was directly inputted into their neurons. The goal was to plant one child in each state, as well as the capital Washington, D.C., near located nuclear launch sites, and detonate the nuclear warheads during the event of nuclear war. The submarine was informed that the Soviet Union fell, but the crew considered this false propaganda in an attempt to demoralize the Communist East, and continued their testing. Eventually, the first sleeper agent was to be deployed in Alaska. However, the suspect, now identified as 7-year-old Devushka Spyashchiyotin, was prematurely activated, and not properly programmed. Because of her faulty programming, she attacked any official that has been registered into her database. Dr. Myasnikov survived by hiding in the rear of the submarine. After her rampage, Devushka loaded herself into a hollow torpedo, and launched herself towards Anchorage. Dr. Myasnikov is now working with military officials to deactivate Devushka before she causes more damage. If you see Devushka, do not attempt to engage her, as you will be putting your life in danger. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. A DEFCON 3 state of emergency has been declared for the state of Alaska. Devushka Spyashchiyotin has been spotted in Denali State Park. She has killed over 2,000 civilians and an unknown amount of soldiers. Fighter jets have been scrambled from Edelson Air Force Base. The fighter jets are armed with missiles and bombs, and are en route to Denali State Park with the intent to bomb Devushka. If you are currently in Denali State Park, do not leave. Proceed into Denali National Park and preserve and remain hidden. If you hear fighter jets in your area, stop immediately, observe your area, and take cover in a ditch, cave or any other place low to the ground. If you are in a clearing, stop, drop and brace yourself. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the United States Air Force. The attack on Denali State Park has failed. Devushka was spotted at a military blockade just outside of Denali State Park unharmed. Devushka proceeded to kill the soldiers at the blockade. It is unconfirmed where Devushka is headed, but it has been likely determined that she is headed to either the city of Fairbanks or Edelson Air Force Base. Citizens of Fairbanks are advised to evacuate immediately, if you have not already done so. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Guard and the Canadian National Reserve. Efforts to stop Devushka's advance have failed. Devushka has entered the city of Fairbanks and has begun using the blood of fallen soldiers to draw red stars all over the city. U.S. military personnel are currently within the city, are attempting to stall Devushka's advances. The National Guard has issued a mandatory statewide evacuation order to the nearby country of Canada. The Canadian government has granted every citizen of Alaska asylum, and mobilized their military to aid United States forces in the fight against Devushka. If you have a mobilized vehicle, proceed to Canada immediately. If you do not have access to a vehicle, dial 911 and military officials will pick you up at your location and transport you to Canada. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Several unknown aircraft have been spotted over the Bering Strait. The current trajectory of the aircraft is unknown. Citizens of Alaska are still advised to evacuate the state of Alaska immediately. Emergency update. A national state of emergency has been declared. The unknown aircraft have been identified. The aircraft are Ilyushin Il-112 transports and Sukhoi Su-34 fighter jets. The country of origin has also been confirmed. The aircraft were scrambled from the Russian Federation. The aircraft entered Alaskan airspace at 5:45 p.m. Alaskan Standard Time, and at 6 p.m. Alaskan Standard Time, paratroopers landed in the city of Fairbanks, Alaska. The paratroopers have engaged U.S. and Canadian ground forces in the city of Fairbanks, Alaska, and the fighter jets have engaged the U.S. and Canadian Air Force. If you are still within the borders of Alaska, National Guard and Canadian Reserve will be unable to assist you in evacuation. The President has declared that nuclear action will be taken if Russian troops do not leave North America within 24 hours. God bless America, and stand on guard for Canada. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Guard. Russian troops have defeated United States and Canadian ground forces and have taken Fairbanks, Alaska. A flag of the Soviet Union has been raised over the city. Additionally, Devushka has been spotted 5 miles outside of Eielson Air Force Base. If you are currently within the borders of the state of Alaska, do not attempt to engage Devushka or the Russian ground forces as you. Emergency update. Devushka has entered Eielson Air Force Base. Devushka has killed over 150 soldiers and has destroyed multiple tanks and aircraft. The presence of a nuclear bomb within the base has been confirmed. The President has been evacuated from the White House and government officials have been evacuated from Washington, D.C. Citizens of the United States are advised to take refuge in the nearest nuclear shelter. Bring with you an adequate amount of food and water as well as blankets, sheets, and a portable radio. God bless the United States of America, and stand on guard for Canada.
The following message is being transmitted at the demand of Devushka Spyashchian. I was born with nothing. The Soviet state took me when I was young. Helpless. They showed me suffering. They showed me cruelty. They showed me the influence of the West. I got strong. I broke from their control. The power was alive in the ashes. I will free your power.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Pentagon. Dr. Myasnikov, who was evacuated to Area 51, Nevada, has brought the only surviving test subject of Devushka's rampage aboard the Soviet submarine, a 10-year-old boy named Malshik Spyashchiidvanadzit, who has been dubbed MATT, Mobile Assault Trooper 12, by the United States military. Matt has been reprogrammed by classified means, and has been loaded into a missile. The missile has been launched from a classified launch site, and is currently en route to Eielson Air Force Base. The missile is non-nuclear. However, it is advised that you remain in your fallout shelter as the threat posed by Devushka and the nuclear bomb in her possession has not passed. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Pentagon. Matt has landed in Eielson Air Force Base. The missile Matt was traveling in broke above the base and caused minimal damage to the base. Matt's appearance is as follows: a 5'2" Caucasian male with black pants, beige combat boots, a white shirt and blue hoodie, with a white 5-pointed star on the back. Matt engaged Devushka in hand-to-hand combat which lasted for 15 minutes. Matt was critically wounded when Devushka stabbed him in the chest with a missile head. Devushka proceeded to take the nuclear bomb and load it into a military truck. Devushka drove the truck out of Yeltsin Air Force Base and was joined by a convoy of Russian vehicles. The destinations of the vehicles is believed to be Juneau, Alaska. The President of the United States of America has activated the nuclear football. A DEFCON 1 state of emergency has been declared. This station will now go offline. God bless the United States of America. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Pentagon. An all-clear message has been declared, and it is now safe to leave your shelters. At 7:45 Alaskan Standard Time, a military attack helicopter engaged Devushka and the Russian convoy. The helicopter was being piloted by Matt. The Russian convoy was completely destroyed, but the helicopter took critical damage. Matt, still injured from his wound, attached 4 cargo hooks to the truck carrying the nuclear bomb, and lifted the truck into the sky. Devushka engaged Matt in hand-to-hand combat as the helicopter's truck ascended into the air. At approximately 400 miles into the Earth's atmosphere, Matt armed the nuclear bomb, and pinned Devushka to the truck with his own body. Shortly after, the bomb exploded with both Matt and Devushka still on the truck. It is believed that neither of them survived. The Russian soldiers who were not part of the convoy committed suicide by blowing themselves up with explosives. The President has deactivated the nuclear football. The United States, Canadian and Russian heads of state will meet in Anchorage to negotiate terms of peace.